everyone, this is me here at Turney, and if you're new to my channel, I'm taking the bar this November 2021, and aside from that, I'm also a stay-at-home mom, a full-time mom, a handsome mom, or whatever they call it nowadays. So there. With the recent declaration of community quarantine here in Metro Manila, we are now forced to study in the comfort of our own home, and of course there comes the advantages and the disadvantages. So if you're like me, studying at home with kids or with other relatives, it might be there might be some distractions which could really take away your focus. In this video, I'll provide you with 8 ways how I managed to stay focused despite the distractions in our house or in our home. So I hope you find this insightful, and if you're into this, stay tuned until the end. There, let's get to it. Number 1 is plan ahead. Well, according to my professor, Attorney Tranquil Salvador, he said that half of the battle is won when you plan ahead. And when you plan ahead, don't change your strategy in the middle of the game. So now, August is like that middle of the game already, because in several months, there will be the bar exam already. So no changing of the game and no backing out. This is it. We have to deal with it. I created a video about this. I uploaded it in my channel. If you haven't checked it out, you may do so. I'll provide the description in the link below. I'll provide the link in the description below, and you can check it out, how I planned ahead. Aside from that, planning ahead means also trying to anticipate those distractions, and in my case, that's my children bugging in and wanting for my attention. So I planned ahead, and before the community quarantine, I gathered as much toys as I could. I put them in a secret stash. I call it a secret stash because I don't want my children to find out that I have this pile of toys for them. What I do is that I open one for them daily. They don't have to be expensive. It could be just like any surprise toy, and that will work wonder for you, because that will work wonders for you because it will keep them entertained. And knowing children, when it's new or novel, it will catch their attention, well, most of the times during the day, but there were times that they would really want your attention, especially just like now. My eldest daughter is sick. She has fever, and we don't know yet what is it. So she wants my attention constantly. So that one is an exception. So there. Number 2 is to establish a routine. I couldn't stress this enough, that routine is vital for a review or a study session, or if you're reviewing for a particular test, because having a routine could send a signal to your brain that it's time to study, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. You chunk up the responsibilities. For those who juggle so many roles during their bar review, their study session, or their whatever they're doing, routine is really vital, because with the routine, there you could allocate time for a specific task. So in our household, I established a routine for my children. Their body knows it already. If at this particular time they have to wake up, after waking up they have to take breakfasts, after breakfast they have to take a bath, morning bath, and then after bath time, nap time, it's nap time. After nap time, then they have to do other recreational things that would keep them entertained. And I mentioned about the nap time. I utilize that nap time to my advantage, of course. I just zone in when they dozed off, and that's how it is. Aside from that, Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. With this routine, your brain will eventually cope up with the routine, and it will somehow force you or your subconscious mind to focus and just grasp whatever you're reading at that particular time. With that also, you could determine your productive time. And with that productive time, you know that whatever you read at that productive time, your brain will just absorb them without effort, actually. Number 3 is study smart, not hard. My professor, Attorney Marcel, mentioned this in our class before, that she didn't study hard when she was in law school or when she was taking the bar or reviewing for the bar rather. She studied smart. So as I dig into the topic, what do you mean by studying smart? Because when I was in law school, I used to be like, I have to study, I have to zone in. Nothing else matters. I don't go out, I don't whatever. So it worked for me because I have nothing else to worry about. I was just studying. But now that I have children, it's a different ball game. I have to level up my game. I have to strategize. And by strategizing, that means I have to look for ways wherein I could just study for specific hours and then do the rest of the mommy tasks. Sort of practices that I let go with this studying smart method is I don't highlight anymore. I don't highlight my books, my caudals, my everything that I read. Before in law school, I have this sort of sickness of the mind that if it's a general rule, it must be a yellow highlighter, a Stabilo yellow. It must be neon so that I must remember it. And then for the exception, I would use orange, and then exception to the exception would be pink. And there came a time in law school or in an examination in law school that I remembered that I highlighted this particular thing, and it's on this particular side. It's on the right side. I highlighted the rule and then the exception to the exception. But I could not remember the concept. I could not answer the question. So it's really bizarre because I know I read that, but I couldn't remember. And then as I dig into the method, the study smart method, there I realized that by highlighting, what we do is just we recognize it. So there, you recognize there's a general rule, an exception to the exception, but we do not really there's no recollection of whatever we highlighted. I don't know. It's just how it is. So, of course, there's a big difference between recollection and recognition. You recognize that you highlighted that part, but you don't recollect the concept. You can't answer the question. It's so crazy. So now I don't highlight anymore. I just read it. If it's important, if it's the general rule, I will type it to my laptop. And then if there's an exception, I will type it. With that, I use my own words to type it, even though it's not verbatim. I'm not quoting the law or the rule per se, but I'm putting it in my own word, and I think that's what's important. Another study smart technique is just study on your productive time. It's your responsibility to determine your productive time because you're the one reviewing. You know yourself better compared to the person or the bar operations example of doing things or doing the bar review. I don't adhere to that because I know myself better. I've observed myself better. I'll study on this particular time because it works for me. And why did I mention this? Because in our bar review, I came across this particular statement that for remedial law, for remedial law, it's recommended that we read it for like 4.5 days, and it will just drive me crazy if I have that limited time to read for remedial law. Remedial law is one of my favorite subjects, but there's too much to it. There's too much to read about it, and I couldn't just give it like 4.5 days because I study like an average 6 hours a day, 6 or 4 hours a day. So I don't know if I could really live up to that. So on my case, I just study on my productive time, and that's just it. I don't force myself. Whenever my attention span slides down, I stop reading. I play with my children. I interact with them. We go out for a walk. We play with our dog, a very, very energetic dog. Number 4 is finding a suitable environment. I know. There's no perfect location or perfect environment. You just create a suitable environment for you. Because if you're a mom like me, there's no privacy. Oh, let's all admit it. Your children will bump in. Mom, I want this. Mom, I want milk. Mom, I want that. Mom, I want to watch this particular show, etc., etc. The list doesn't stop. So, in my case, I just find a suitable place, which is our library, and I try to study here. When they want to come in, they are welcome. And there, whenever I'm here in the library, they know that I must study. They know that I'm here to read. So whenever they are around, they just play around. They don't bother me. At times. Number 5, I blocked all the distracting apps, laptops, tablets. There. On my case, I deleted Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. Those apps used to distract me because whenever my husband would tell me, I posted something on Facebook, can you just check it out and put a like on it? Oh sure, I'll do that. And then I'll scrolling. Then 15 minutes is gone. I just accumulated chismes at the end of the day, which is not so good for review because most of my friends are also reviewing, and they will post this particular readings they got, particular readings, particular number of readings. It's just driving me crazy. So there, it's sort of blocking also the negative energy into my review. But one app that I did not delete is Twitter. In Twitter, I follow Justice Leonin, which is the bar chairman for this bar examination. He would post encouragement, which I think is positive energy also, which is good for my review. And then I follow the Supreme Court's information Twitter account, and there I am abreast with the recent bar bulletin. I also post that in here in this channel. So if that's your kind of thing, just subscribe so that you'll be notified of the recent bulletins if that's your kind of thing. And number six, I use the Pomodoro technique. Traditionally, a Pomodoro technique is that you study for 25 minutes and then you will have 5 minutes break. Within that 5 minutes break, you could do whatever, the toilet break, etc., etc. But that doesn't work for me. I have this forest app. Because probably I'm a plant mama and I love plants. I love collecting coins. Whenever whenever you zone in or you focus, you earn points or you earn coins, and with that coins you could purchase plants, etc. So I kind of love that sort of thing. It's just my thing. I don't know with you. So there I choose the 120 minutes focus time, because whenever my children would come in and bug me, I will pause it, and then the next time that I will study again, I will read again, I will just play it again. With that, I get to monitor my progress. How many hours did I zone in for the day? How many productive? And with that app, I could really track which time of the day I'm really productive. So the app also gives you that kind of report. So it works for me. I hope it works for you too. Schedule a downtime. I actually saw this from Justice Leonin's post that, okay, you study for this particular hour, but don't be harsh on yourself. You create a hobby aside from studying. You enjoy the study. You enjoy this journey. We're supposed to enjoy this journey. It's a journey. It's not punishment that we must, I must study. Because when you don't give yourself a break, it will body that, oh, studying is really tasking and I have to do this. It's so hard, etc., etc. Unlike if you just schedule a downtime, wherein, on my case, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't study at that time. I go out with my kids, we go for a walk just around the area, and then of course we observe social distancing. We usually do that in a not crowded place. Actually, there's no one passing by that area. It's just us. I walk with my 2 toddlers and our very energetic dog. We could smell the fresh air, and then aside from that, it's a bond. It's a bonding moment for me, my children, and our dog. It was just amazing. And it's really a known fact that if your mind is constricted or you do this particular task, then your body will send a signal na, oh no, it's not happy. And if you're not happy with this, with reading, it will not eventually go into you. You wouldn't recall whatever you're reading. it must be a journey. It's a journey. You enjoy every bit of it. I think I do that. I'm not so proud with my number of readings, but I am proud that I'm not so stressed. I just live in the moment. I study whenever I have to, but I don't study hard. I study smart. That's it. And number 8, the last one, is exercise. I don't mean to say exercise that you go for a beach body and all. Not that one. What I mean is that you just let your sweat out. You let that happy hormone thing that produced by your body whenever you work out, and just enjoy that happy hormones. If you have that happy hormones, then you can just zone in again for the next day, or probably after that. That will be a productive time for you too. There. I hope you like this video. If you find it very insightful and informative, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're new, please subscribe. I provide videos on how-tos, the recent bar bulletin, the law. Thank you so much. You'll have a wonderful review. My hearts are with you.